All right. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome. We've got a crowd of people piling through our little digital doors there. Lots of cameras on, lots of great smiles. We have a great topic that we're going to cover. I want to talk about the hidden key to growth in your business, your real estate business. What's the key to growing? As I've thought about this for a while, to me, the hidden key to growing your business is understanding the concept of progressive overload. How many of you have heard that term, progressive overload? Any of you? Okay. Well, this is going to be a dandy today, I'll tell you that. So, um, the concept of progressive overload comes from the world of physical fitness. And I'm sad to say that might be why none of our agents have heard of progressive overload. No, I know we have some who are extremely fit, extremely into fitness. I'm into fitness. Fitness taco in my mouth. That's my idea of fitness. But progressive overload is the deliberate, gradual increase of stress placed on a system so that it must adapt and grow stronger. Progressive overload is the systematic increase of workload over time to stimulate adaptation and improvement. So I have a couple examples of this. One is I have a cousin whose husband is a bodybuilder. We got together for lunch a while back. He's just massive. His biceps and his shoulders, he's like this wide. And he shakes your hand. His hand swallows your hand. And I've been following him for a while on social media, and I just he'll go to the gym and he's working out. He's bench pressing, 500-600 pounds, and he's a brute. And when we got together for lunch, I asked him. I said, "So tell me about your fitness routine. Like, you must be in the gym like every day for hours and hours." He said, "No." He said, I go about twice a week, maybe 2 or 3 times a week for about 20 or 30 minutes." And I was like, "Wait, what?" 20 or 30 minutes, but you only do it twice, 2 or 3 times a week. Like, how does that work? And it comes down to this idea of progressive overload. When he was younger, smaller, he would get there and he would bench press however much he could, but he would go to the point of failure. So he would push and push it and push it till he's given it everything he could, and then he would stop. He couldn't go any further. And then the next time he'd be at the gym, he'd think, "I wonder if I can get one more rep. I wonder if I can." Last week I did six. I wonder if I could do seven this time. So he would push it just a little bit stronger. There were times when he would increase the number of reps, times when he would increase the stress load itself, the amount of weight. And he did this over time, and he had been doing this for like 10 years. So over time, progressive overload can really be a life-changing experience. And I've seen it that way in business as well. And that's why I wanted to share this with you. Let me give you another example. Right now, I am training for a special event when I turn 60 years old, which is it's only in a few months. In June, I'm going to be 60 years old. Can you believe that I said that out loud? So at 60, my goal is to be able to ride my bike. I've been cycling for a while, but I'd like to be able to put in 60 miles on my 60th birthday. That's my goal. I've got it on my calendar. But it's like, any goal. You don't just wake up that morning and go out there and jump on the bike and ride 60 miles and have a heart attack and then it's all over. That's not my goal. I don't want to do it that way. I'm trying to use this idea of progressive overload to build up to that so that I can get that 60 miles in. By the way, that's actually it's 100K. I'm going to ride my bike 100K. I like to sound 100K better than 60 miles. That sounds a little bit better, but it's a long way. It's going to take me hours and hours to be able to complete that, and I couldn't do that today. And so I'm using actually Chat GPT. I've had it set up a schedule. I've got every week between now and my 60th birthday in June. I've got every week scheduled. These are the days I'm going to ride my bike. This is or my indoor bike, depending on the weather and where I'm at. But these are the days I'm going to be riding. This is the amount of time. This is the distance, and it gets just a little bit more each week. So that's progressive overload. So I'm overloading. I'm pushing just a little bit harder to be able to accomplish something great down the road. So that is an important concept for us in our business. Okay, if nothing in your life is getting harder, nothing and your life is getting better. Okay, at least in your business. Think of it like this. If you were to lift weights every day and you do 10 reps of 20 pounds, maybe on curls or something like that, and you do that every day, you're not going to get stronger. You'll get stronger to a point, but you're not going to be like my cousin's husband. You're not going to get to that point if you do the same amount of weight, the same amount of reps. It's only through increasing the stress on the system that you're going to be able to increase your muscles and your fitness. And that's the way it is in life. If you're doing just the same thing every day and you're not looking to grow, not looking to increase, improve, then you'll get to a point where you just plateau, and that's the way your life is, and it doesn't improve from that. So progressive overload is what takes you to that next level. So here's how this might show up in your work. Okay, here's some examples. If you made 10 prospecting calls last week, what would it look like if you made 11 this week? Okay, now you notice that's not a massive change. I'm not saying go from 10 to you need to do 1,000 this week. It's just progressive. And that's one of the mistakes that people make with fitness is they go from 0 to 100 right away rather than progressively getting better and better and better, just incrementally. They try to go too much too fast. So for you to be successful in your business, I would encourage you to increase just a little bit each week. What can you do this week that's just a little bit better than what you did last week? If you booked 2 listing appointments, if you did that last month, there's a chance you could do 3 this month. Just a little bit better. What would it take to just get that third one this month? If you sent out 5 handwritten notes last week, is there a chance you could send out 6 this week? What would that look like if you do just a little bit better? If you held 2 open houses last month, is there a chance you could have 3 open houses this month? If you normally follow up a call, a prospect call in 8 hours, you get to it in that day, is there a chance you could improve that to 4 or 6 hours in your follow up? Or if maybe you're already at 2 hours, is there a way you can improve that to an hour in your follow up? Whatever those numbers are, can you make it just a little bit better? If you normally reach out to 5 people in your database each week, is there a chance you could increase that to 7? Could you do just a little bit better? And like I mentioned, it's not just the number of reps, it might be the amount of pressure, the amount of weight that you're lifting. So most of our success lies just on the other side of our comfort zone. So if you feel uncomfortable creating videos for your real estate business, can you push that just a little bit? Can you push just a little bit beyond your comfort zone? What can you do this week that will make you just a little bit uncomfortable and will move you toward that goal of creating videos for your business? Is there a new skill that you can work on this week to make you 1% better than you were last week? What would that be? It might be scripting. It might be some skill, learning about graphic design or learning about video editing. It might have to do with learning how to pitch your business and make sales, how to close a sale. What is that skill that you really need to develop? And can you learn something that will make you just 1% better than last week? If you're currently posting twice a week on social media, something to do with your business, is there some way you could boost that maybe to 3 times a week? These are just some examples of pushing that. If you normally start working at 9 o'clock in the morning, what would happen if you were to push that a little bit to 8:30 in the morning? How would that make a difference in your business? If you normally call a contact once and they don't pick up, what would happen if you started calling them twice? If they didn't answer the call, what would happen if you call each of those contacts just an extra time? Or what if you call them 3 times? If they don't pick up over the couple days, you follow up with them. What would that look like just to do a little bit more than what you're doing right now? So that's progressive overload. Okay. So progressive overload isn't just about the number of reps, but it also has to do with the difficulty of the task, like adding weights to the bar. To be thinking in number of reps, maybe the number of calls, the number of meetings, the number of appointments. So the number of repetitions is important, but also be thinking in what can I do that's harder? It's not just more, but it's actually harder. And that tends to be something to do with your comfort zone, reaching out beyond those things that are already comfortable for you. And this is a great quote by James Clear, who wrote the book Atomic Habits. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person that you wish to become. Each day that you push a little bit harder, you do something just a little bit more than what you did the previous day or the previous week. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. I love that quote. The whole book by James Clear is amazing, so I would recommend that you pick that up. Darren Hardy made the statement that small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals a radical difference. And I've seen that in my own life by trying to learn and grow every day, every month, every week. I've seen so much growth. I said I'm turning 60 soon. That's a lot of time to be watching growth, and I can say all that effort into growing and reading and learning and stretching skills definitely pays off over time. It's like compound interest in your life. So keep growing, keep doing all that you can to grow just 1% better each day, each week, and so progressive overload to me is the key to growth, true growth in your business, not going from 0 to 100 in 1 second, but it's gradual. It's not get rich quick, but it is get rich slowly. If you'll slowly work on developing yourself into a better person over time, you'll be amazed at what happens with that. That's my quick teaching for the day. Hopefully that's helpful. I didn't want to overwhelm you with a whole bunch of stuff, but I think that progressive overload, I've been personally experiencing that with fitness, and it dawned on me what an important concept that is for us. With that, I guess I'll go ahead and let you guys go. Thanks for joining in. Great to have a great group today. Get out there, make some money, go sell some houses, do just a little bit more than you did last week. Not necessarily work harder, work smarter, and develop the skills to do that. So have a wonderful week.